Greetings Exiles, BullShifter here, and today's video is going to be a bit of a public service announcement / tutorial. So today I just kind of wanted to discuss the importance of using the Chaos Orb recipe as opposed to the Regal Orb recipe. Now for those of you who aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, I can kind of show you just to give you a bit of a better idea as to how this works. So I typically keep two stash tabs available for this. This is the one that I keep for my Chaos Orbs, and this is the one I keep for my Regal Orbs. Now, basically the way that this works is to get a Chaos Orb, you're going to be looking for items that are between level 65 and 74, and looking for full sets of items. And if you leave them unidentified, it'll actually reward you with 2 Chaos Orbs. Regal Orbs work the exact same way, however, it is item levels 75 and above. Now, the reason I wanted to make this public service announcement video is because of the fact that you would assume, because of the fact that Regal Orbs require higher level items, that would be the go-to recipe to use, that would be the items that you would want to loot, and that would be the currency that you would want to create. However, that's not true. If you pay attention to kind of the currency conversion rate right now in Path of Exile, one Regal Orb, well, I should say one Chaos Orb is actually worth about 2 Regal Orbs. So by using the Regal Orb recipe, you're actually essentially cutting your profits in half. So there are quick ways around this, and in my opinion, the best way to do this is to just go ahead and run your higher tier content. So I mean, if you're in higher tiered yellow maps or red maps, you're probably getting level 75 and up items dropping for you. So you don't really want to keep grinding low tier maps in order to do chaos recipes as opposed to regal recipes. There is kind of a short way around doing that. So I'll show you for example here. So here's everything that I would need for a Regal recipe. And for those of you, again, who aren't familiar, what it requires is essentially one of every type of item that you can equip. So you need a helmet, a chest piece, 2 rings, an amulet, a belt, boots, gloves, and the weapon slot is where you get a little bit of freedom. You can either use a 2-handed weapon, since that would technically fulfill a full set of items. You can use 2 one-handed weapons. They do not have to match, so you can use a mace and a dagger. It does not matter. Any combination of one-handed weapons will work. You can use a one-handed weapon and a shield, a 2-handed bow, essentially anything that would fit, clearing out the inventory, essentially filling out an entire full set. So for the sake of argument, we're going to go ahead, and that actually should not be in there. We're just going to go with 2 one-handed weapons. Now these are all level 75 and above. So if I go ahead and try to sell all these to Einhar here, or essentially any vendor in the game, and actually I must have had a lower level item in there. So let's double check. If you hold left stick, it'll actually show you the item level. So one of these is below level 75. It's probably that amulet. It is. Okay. So let's exit out of here. I've actually already showed you the example of what you want to try and do in order to successfully do this. So let's find an amulet that's actually above level 75. So this one's fine. So if we go ahead and sell him a full set of level 75 items, and I haven't screwed up the levels of any of these items, which I've done it again. 81, level 7, so it's the chest piece this time. Okay. So let's go ahead and actually store this with my sub-level 70 some items. Okay, and I actually don't have an item that's 76, so we can use that temporarily. And in order to complete our example, we'll use this item. So 3rd time's the charm. This is why it's important to pay attention to your item levels. So as you can see, this time I've done it correctly. These are all items that are above level 75. 75 or up. And it rewards me with 2 Regal Orbs for this recipe. However, if you're grinding higher tier maps, obviously you're going to be getting higher level items, so this is going to be the kind of stuff that you're running into. The best way to fix this is, say I remove 1 item, and this is exactly what you just saw, and I add a sub level 75 item in there that's obviously still above level 65. And now it actually offers me 2 Chaos Orbs as opposed to 2 Regal Orbs. So you kind of have to think about this. What's the best way for me to do this? And the answer to that question is run your higher tier maps the way that you normally would. And then when you have enough items to go ahead and trade in for 2 Regal Orbs, run 1 low tier map. Pick up 1 item, come back to Einhar or whichever vendor you choose, and swap out 1 of the level 75 and up items with 1 item that is level 65 to 74, and it will automatically roll back to 2 Chaos Orbs. So this is a way that you can actually still run your higher tier maps and at the same time still get the higher value currency as opposed to being stuck with half of the profits for running stronger maps, which just doesn't, make sense for you to do. Now, you may be wondering, well, why are Chaos Orbs more valuable than Regal Orbs? And there's a relatively simple explanation for this. Chaos Orbs are used as a general currency far more often than Regal Orbs are. Now, don't get me wrong, if you look at what each item does, Regal Orbs are super valuable for crafting. I keep a decent amount on me because I do like to craft. However, crafting's not everyone's cup of tea. Having a Regal Orb, an item that upgrades a magic item to a rare item, is super useful because it allows you to have more control over the modifiers that you're putting on your items, as opposed to a Chaos Orb, which just re-rolls your modifiers on a rare item and can be essentially anything. So the reason why Chaos are more valuable, one, like I had mentioned, it's more of a uniformly used currency item on the shops, as well as the fact that anything you do while mapping, the currency that it takes are also Chaos Orbs as opposed to Regal Orbs. So this is also a way to modify your map. So Chaos Orbs just have multi-purposes as opposed to a Regal Orb, which is simply just used for crafting purposes, which not everyone does. So that's naturally caused Chaos Orbs to be more of an expensive currency than Regal Orbs. I hope all this made sense. If not, definitely feel free to ask me any questions you'd like to about this subject in the comments section. I'll do my best to go ahead and answer those questions. But I just wanted to put this PSA out there so that way, you're not cutting your profits in half, because if you're running higher tier maps, you should be getting the highest possible profit. And like I said, that can be done by simply just running 1 low tier map, gathering a few of those items. Even a tier 1 map is going to yield you items that are going to match that criteria for Chaos Orbs. That's probably what I'd suggest, simply because of the fact that you're not really looking for the rewards in a lower tier map. You're essentially just looking for a few rare items that you can go in and sub for some of those 75 and up rare items, so that way you can go ahead and get that Chaos Orb instead of that Regal Orb. Now, the items don't necessarily have to be unidentified. If you do trade in identified items, it's just going to give you 1 orb as opposed to 2. However, I would highly recommend keeping some unidentified items, just so that way, again, you're doubling your profits. Because essentially, if you're trading in level 75 items and up, and they're identified, now you're only getting 1 Regal Orb. Now you've actually managed to cut your profits into a quarter of what you would have gotten had you unidentified them and added 1 Chaos Orb item into the mix. So I hope this video is helpful, and I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I should be online streaming tonight. Tonight is going to be a little bit of a different stream. I actually want to try out a little bit of Black Desert Online during the stream tonight. It's a game that quite a few of you have been asking about, so I figured it'd be fun for one stream while the beta is still going to go ahead and give that game a shot. I was out of town this past weekend, so I actually haven't had a chance to play myself. So this will actually be a pure, unplanned first impression of Black Desert Online. So hope you guys will tune in for that. Hopefully it's an enjoyable experience, and if it is something that I end up enjoying, it may be something that we have some future videos on. But again, primarily we're going to continue to do Path of Exile videos. I do want to thank all of you guys who participated in the poll, letting me know what other games you would also like to see added to the Path of Exile content. I will be sure to have a few of those videos up over the upcoming weeks, and I hope you guys will tune in for them, as I'm just trying to essentially grow the content of the channel and just provide you guys with a bit more information and hopefully some more entertainment. So thanks again for watching, guys. I really do appreciate all the views and all the subscriptions. You guys are awesome. I have a fantastic community who's been very supportive of my entire time on YouTube, and I can't express enough how much I appreciate that. So thanks again, and until next time, may the RNG be with you, always.